In the snowy grandeur of Aspen, Colorado, the Lockhart family's business gala was in full swing at their palatial estate, a veritable who's who of high society, with a glimmer of sophistication. In an unassuming corner, a man named Alex Carter awoke with a jolt, rapidly digesting the memory script that had been thrust into his brain. He felt utterly disheartened, almost ready to throw in the towel. This was his seventh time around. He'd been in a car accident while on his delivery route and was then pulled into a system that sent him into the role of a villain in an online novel. The system's instructions were straightforward. If he could make it to the end without being taken out by the hero, he'd earn a reward to bring back to the real world. With no other options and his mother's health in dire need, Alex had to take on the challenge. However, in his previous attempts, his end was more gruesome each time. The heroes in these novels were just too powerful, naturally gifted and overwhelmingly strong, with skills ranging from medicine to martial arts, from mystical cultivation to gambling, even an X-ray vision. Nothing was off their table. What made it even more frustrating was their incredible luck. No matter what the villain schemed, they were always outwitted by the hero, who would then deliver a knockout blow, followed by a triumphant catchphrase, and leave with a beautiful woman by his side. Moreover, all the attractive women were inevitably part of the hero's entourage, a done deal. Alex had once spoken a bit too much to a woman who was the hero's romantic interest, and was killed for it. Was there no justice in this fictional world? No law? Alex quickly made his way to the bathroom to ponder his predicament. He had already met his end at the hands of characters named Hades, Leaf, and Dragon Supreme. This time, the book was titled The War God's Conquest of the City, a name that was as cheesy as it gets. The hero was once again Dragon Supreme. He was a war god from the frontier, now undercover as a security guard, getting close to a woman named Autumn Frost. The current plotline was in Chapter 9, where Dragon Supreme would step in to protect Autumn during the announcement of Alex's supposed engagement to her. Alex, in his overconfidence, would have his leg broken by Dragon Supreme and would be sidelined for several chapters to heal. Meanwhile, Dragon Supreme would win Autumn's heart, and the two would become inseparable, living a life of unapologetic bliss. Alex splashed water on his face, gritting his teeth as he stared at his reflection in the mirror. This time, I'm going to hang on until the end and bring back the system's reward to treat my mother's illness. With a newfound determination, he decided to play it cool and not make any sudden moves. As he emerged from the bathroom, he saw Autumn Frost waiting for him at the door. She was dressed in an elegant evening gown, a true picture of beauty and grace, with a flawless and exquisite face. Her figure was well-proportioned, and her expression was cool and haughty. Without a doubt, she was the leading lady, the eldest daughter of the Frost family, the young CEO of Summit Group, the muse he had pursued for 3 years, and most importantly, Dragon Supreme's love interest. Alex forced a smile, but before he could speak, Autumn said coldly, "Alex Carter, I have no intention of getting engaged to you. You can forget about it." Alex smiled, thinking to himself, "Oh, please spare me the engagement, miss. I've got a few more years I'd like to live. Your figure is indeed impressive, and your face is exceptional. But what a pity that you're just a gullible leading lady, easily swayed by Dragon Supreme's charm, willing to be part of his entourage. Once Dragon Supreme has you, he essentially has control over the Frost family. How tragic for the Frost family's generations of hard work, all to be handed over to someone with the name Dragon Supreme." Alex said with a smile, "I agree." Autumn was taken aback, surprised by his response. It was unusual. Alex hadn't moved, yet she had heard so many words from him. Only the phrase, "I agree," had come from his lips. What about the rest? He had been pursuing her for 3 years, and despite all her efforts to shake him off, he had clung to her like a persistent shadow. Even when his reputation was tarnished, he had used his family's influence to force their parents to intervene, and today was the day they were to be engaged. So, what had changed? Alex continued with a smile. "Autumn, I've come to my senses. We really aren't a good match. Let's just be ordinary friends from now on." In his heart, he thought, "Hurry up and go be part of your Dragon Supreme's entourage. You, along with the other 999 women, all fawning over that man, licking his shoes, and exalting his greatness. Ha! Now, my first priority is to quickly deal with this naive woman. She thinks she's a genius, invincible, but in reality, she's just a pawn in Dragon Supreme's game, already halfway to being his, just waiting for my final move. Autumn was certain this time. She could hear Alex's inner thoughts. What was this about licking shoes and serving a man with 999 other women? Who did she think she was? How could she possibly degrade herself in such a manner? And Dragon Supreme? The security guard she had hired a few days ago? Was she, Autumn Frost, going to become his fawning admirer? There was no way she could let Alex Carter off the hook. He was definitely up to something. Alex was taken aback, thinking, what's wrong with this naive woman? I'm not pursuing the marriage alliance anymore, yet she's still so angry. But as Dragon Supreme's woman, I absolutely cannot offend her. Fortunately, the leading lady's mind is always a bit off. She should be easy to placate. He quickly said with a smile, let's go and set the record straight with the elders. After you. Autumn strode purposefully towards the inner room, her chest heaving with anger. Alex, thinking he was playing his cards right, followed with a smug grin. Little did he know, Autumn had plans of her own, and his scheming was about to be turned on its head. As they entered the room filled with family members and esteemed guests, all eyes turned to the pair standing at the threshold. Oh, what's all this fuss about? Called out a relative. Let's take this inside. There's no need for a scene. Alex, seizing the moment, greeted Autumn's parents and his own with a handshake and a warm, good evening. Before anyone could utter a word, Alex addressed the room with a sincerity that almost convinced himself. Dear family, Autumn and I have come to a mutual understanding. We've decided not to go through with the engagement. He spoke with a calculated sorrow, thumping his chest in a show of heartfelt emotion. Autumn is strong, independent, intelligent, and decisive. She deserves someone who truly compliments her, who understands her, and most importantly, someone she truly loves. We should all support and bless her in her pursuit of happiness. Alex feigned a look of pained sacrifice. Although I've cherished and adored her more than life itself, true love is about letting go, about setting the one you love free. He was quite pleased with his performance, even mentally humming the cliched ballad. Sometimes love means letting go. Everyone in the room was taken aback. Autumn's father, Mr. Frost, was skeptical. He knew his daughter's suitor was up to something. This sudden change of heart was too good to be true. Autumn, however, had a different plan. With a smile that sent a chill through the room, she announced, Dear family, I've decided to go ahead with the engagement to Alex. Alex's eyes widened in shock, as if he'd seen a ghost. Autumn's expression was icy, with a hint of a defiant smirk playing at the corners of her mouth.